Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Green White Checker TV, here hosting the Area 51 Superspeedway NextGen series on Sunday nights. We've got a thriller for you tonight, 3 miles in length, the iRacing Superspeedway, virtual only to us here on iRacing. Nowhere does this exist in real life, but definitely a fun track that dates back to the NR 2003, NASCAR Racing 2003 days before iRacing was a bigger online service, and it was just a company called Papyrus that created this beautiful track. But it exists here for us today in the virtual world, and we've got some great action for our championship leaders here on Sunday nights, and I cannot wait to get this one started. With me tonight will be Mr. Gael Brooks up here in the booth. Gael, what are you looking forward to tonight, which should be, I assume, an action-packed race?
Yeah, I was saying. I mean, for me, obviously, I'm going to be having pretty much one eye, if I can say, pretty much at all times on that 88 and the 18 Gabe Butler, Zach Workman, because it's literally 1 point between them to go into this finale. Let's say so, and it's one of the things. This isn't a winner take all race. So, if let's say Gabe finishes ahead of Zach Workman, but Zach maybe got a few more bonus points, maybe had an incident-free race, Zach could still be the points leader coming and the champion, I should say, coming out after tonight. So it's gonna be fun to say. I do like the fact that we have it with the best of the four. That way you don't have that winner take all. Just that way it gives you a chance to have kind of recover from maybe a bad race. So yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun to see who's gonna be kind of going after. Then of course, I mean you've got the regular season guys that have been here all season. They just want to get a win. So. There's definitely be some greediness. I have a feeling for some of these guys just trying to see if they can kind of spoil the championship party and be able to get their own top three interviews and of course get that all important win.
Yeah, definitely going to be a lot of action. And you mentioned that points battle, and it's really come down to two drivers, teammates actually, Gabe Butler and Zach Workman. I know they've been running really, really strong the last 3 weeks. And in fact, I think we've actually interviewed both of them the last 3 weeks. So drivers in the podium finishing places. So definitely a great battle between those two, and we'll have to see who is going to come out on top. But as of right now, Gabe Butler has 1 point over his teammate Zach Workman in the 18. You see that point differential there. And then Rick Sanchez back to 2,100 points, 26 points off the lead. Probably not going to be enough for him to get into that championship top podium, or that top spot. Maybe will be enough to keep him in the podium placings, but he's got his other teammate of Eric Laurie as well, just behind him of 3 points. So that's the top four, all teammates. Though there's still definitely a great battle for probably at least third place there. Ryan Decker is not too far off that with 2096, Bud Steele 2091, Todd Merkel, Jim Brooks, Brian Wang, all those guys have an opportunity there to try and move up in at least the top five. So definitely still going to try and pay attention to that as well. They're not quite out of it, obviously maybe out of the running for the championship, but still a lot on the line, as you mentioned, Gael, for, I mean, the last race of the season. Everybody wants to get that win. Everybody wants to finish the season on a positive note. I mean, even some of these guys that aren't in the championship standings, they're going to want to do whatever they can to win this race and finish on that high note. So going to be exciting to see for sure. As we are getting ready to grid, we are going to pull up those gridding results, or those qualifying results, in just a second. But Gael, take us through some of the things that you're expecting to see tonight as far as strategy here at iRacing Superspeedway with this 75-lap race.
So yeah, it's gonna be curious to see on the strategy because the first thing off the bat we talked about bonus points, and it's gonna be a wash actually now between Gabe and Zach Workman, as neither driver able to get the pole position here tonight. So I mentioned those guys trying to finish up on a high note, and that's kicking off right off the bat with that number 10 of Bud Steele actually grabbing the pole tonight. So I think for me, the things to watch for are going to be strategies, getting onto pit road, get a lap led, and then from there maybe look at seeing if you want to try to lead the most laps. But then I think it's gonna be all about that teamwork. If you can find your friends and teammates around you, and kind of we've seen that tandem come to very very strong abilities. If those guys can kind of hook up and try to see if they can break the train away from the rest of the field, that's what I would be keeping an eye on. These guys, like I said, the boot knockers are just ridiculously good at kind of making that train, that tandem, if you will. And usually it turns into like a trio tandem, if you will. I'd say not really the way the wording works, but you know what I'm getting at there, Boomer.
Yeah, definitely.
So yeah, so it's gonna be fun. I heard about 22 or so laps on field, so it sounds like it'll be a 3-stopper to the end, no matter what. And a very very big transition from that pit entry to the down to the bottom, because it definitely is pretty bumpy there. So yeah, it's gonna be fun. I'll definitely be having to jump around as much as I can and keep an eye where what everybody's up to here tonight.
Definitely will be a blast. And it looks like Bud Steele actually plays a little bit of a spoiler. He's going to take the bonus point away from Gabe Butler for the pole position. Bud Steele with a lap of 58 seconds, .597 on the pole for tonight. Gabe Butler outside pole in that number 88 machine. Jim Brooks grabbing the third qualifying position, and Zach Workman to his outside. So teammates lined up 2 and 4 on the outside lane, also competing for that championship tonight. Rick Sanchez will start in the 5th position with Eric Laurie to his outside. Austin Call and Todd Merkel will make up row number 4. Peter DeBorgia and Taylor Reeves rounding out the top 10 for tonight. Taking you through the last bit of the grid here, we've also got Kevin Freese, last driver to qualify, taking a time, and then the rest set by the I rating of each driver. So Matt Wagner is the first car not to take a time in that number 6 machine outside of the 6th row. Ryan Decker and Dude Conrad will make up row number 7. Brandon Briggs and Nick Manfredi to round out the field for the 16-car field for this evening. Definitely a lot on the line for some of these drivers. We've mentioned before, you see the names in green. Those are your drivers in the championship standings. So Bud Steele obviously looking to still improve on his points, his standings for the end of the season here. And we'll be watching Gabe Butler and Zach Workman all night long to see who of those two is likely going to be the ones to bring home this championship. Definitely going to be a great battle as the pace car is going to roll off here to turns 3 and 4, and a long corner, and a long straightaway in between the two of them here tonight, Gael. This is a big track.
Yeah, kind of a Dover on steroids. And yeah, you mentioned obviously the top 2, only 1 point between them, and then 3rd to 8th is 11 points difference. So there's definitely a big swing opportunity for a lot of those guys. So that's going to be fun to watch as well. So you got our championship 2 up on the top side, row 1 and 2 there. Oh, got a little bit of a bobble there in the back. Looks like he hangs on to it here. So that's a little scary moment there, but I think everybody's good to go. And we're going to get back to green here as we kick off this race. As a bit of a hiccup on that start, but we're underway.
We are underway. Green flag in the air. Bud Steele on that inside lane. Jim Brooks pushing him. And they're starting to get lined up already on that outside lane. The 88 is pushing that 88, and the 071 teammates behind them. So 3 of them lined up in a row on that outside lane. Todd Merkel looking to join that party. No, he's kind of going to split down to the bottom there. The 10 of Bud Steele being picked up still by the 51 of Jim Brooks and the 510 of Rick Sanchez. Most of the field kind of strung out, couple here and there in the outside lanes, but it looks like everyone's just going to kind of merge here single file and try to get settled in for what is a fairly long race here. 75 laps. Obviously, you saw the times in qualifying just about a minute long, so definitely not as fast as Atlanta Motor Speedway, but still even longer so than Daytona or Talladega, the laps here. So definitely a lot of space to get strung out, and you definitely don't want to be that guy at the back of the pack that loses that draft.
Yeah, unfortunately, we do have a few guys that have fallen off the pack that are going to have to try to regroup, and it's a couple of the guys we just talked about, the Matt Wagner, Ryan Decker. They've fallen off the back. Brandon Briggs as well. So unfortunately, 3 cars, and right now it's a bit of a breakaway here. You've got those top 6. It looks like Gabe, Zach, Eric there, and then Bud, Jim, and Rick able to sneak away just a little bit. However, you can see just behind them, though, Peter DeBorgia and Kevin Freese, they have locked onto each other, and they're going to, like we talked about, they're going to try to tandem their way back to that main pack here, and they've just about, I think, done so, able to close that gap there. But now that puts Todd Merkel in a dangerous spot as well, as he's got Taylor Reeves with him there, Austin Call, and Duke Connor to try to get back up there. So we'll see. But yeah, already here, only on lap number 2, 10, and 3, a little bit of separation to kick things off.
Yeah, definitely. We saw a lot of separation in the first and second race here earlier this season. Obviously, that first race, I believe that was the 10 of Bud Steele grabbing that win. But we saw some of the closed circuit guys, closed circuit motorsports guys, having that ability to break off 1-2 car tandem, and they actually ran down the rest of the field, who had a bit of a miscue and some issues themselves, but definitely I think they caught him from like 5 or 10 seconds back or something crazy like that, and then it was the 10 of Bud Steele and Todd Merkel racing for that lead at the end. So anything can happen. Obviously, if you can push really hard, you can get back up to the front, and looks like so far they're going to try and break away here for the first 3 cars of Gabe Butler, Zach Workman, and Eric Laurie, and just try to race it out for the championships themselves. As looks like there's about 7 cars here in this first pack, and we have to look all the way back. Todd Merkel is now 3.5 seconds off the lead, and catching a little bit back up now, but definitely helps to have this first group to be fairly unorganized, with guys going, trying to find both lanes and trying to make a bigger hole to cut through the air. But we'll see. There's definitely some separation already.
Yeah, it's kind of like you said, the top 2, top 3, every so often they'll have a slight breakaway, and then they'll kind of get pulled right back in again. So it's been interesting to see. But the one thing is that we've been noticing is Gabe Butler been leading these laps. So basically, Zach's been having to kind of push his teammate / competition. So we know that there's a bonus point already in the hands of Gabe. So that 1-point lead coming into tonight's actually sitting at 2 points. Between the 18 and the 88, so at some point Zach's going to try to get back around him to kind of flip that to be an even number. That way they can kind of go back to that number 1. But then I'm looking at the points right now, and I'm looking and say right now, if there was a tiebreaker would actually go to Gabe Butler with 3 wins to Zach Workman's 2. And then if you go to the top 5, then would actually then still go to Gabe. So pretty much for Zach here, he needs to try to beat the 88 by at least a point. Tiebreaker, I think, always going to go into the favor of the 88 versus the 18.
Yeah, definitely going to be interesting for sure. Now 2 points ahead, Iggy mentioned, is Gabe Butler, and a couple more points ahead with the finishing positions. I can't remember exactly how many we have for each finishing position, though I do know we would have definitely 1 point for the leading a lap, like that Gabe Butler already has gotten, and then I believe we also have more points for the most laps led, and I know we do have a bonus point for a 0x race here at Area 51, so it'll be interesting to see how those bonus points play out, but as of right now, Gabe Butler with at least a 2-point lead, and more based on the finishing positions as they run right now.
Yeah, same. Actually, where I'm working right now is to dig what the bonus points are. I believe first to second is actually a 5-point difference between the two, maybe even 6 points if I'm not mistaken. So that's what I'm looking at, pulling up now. That way we can give you the exact penalties. So yeah, so obviously pole position 1 point there, pole position for that 1, gain the most positions over the course of the race is the point, leading the most laps 1, as well as leading a lap is 1, and then yeah, a bonus point for winning the race. And then incident free, to me the incident free is the big one, with 3 bonus points if you can stay incident free over the course of the race. So there's definitely ways where things could switch, even with maybe a first and second place difference between the 2 of them. So you never hope that it gets into those kind of calculations, but right now it seems like these guys are pretty content with where they are. Like I said, we've got that pretty solid breakaway with these top 6 drivers here. And so yeah, so right now I think they're just kind of in cruise. Actually, I should say top 7. Apologies.
Yeah.
I think they're just going to be on kind of cruise control and really not force the issue until they have to. Although they've kind of reorganized that second pack I'm looking at right now, Boomer. It's now Kevin Freese pushing Austin Call. And then you've got the 3 of Todd Merkel with the 8 of Duke Conrad. And last time by, they were about a half a second quicker. 53.78 to 54.25, so they're making the right moves. Yeah, they're making the gains.
I was just going to mention that because they were about this pack was about 4.3 seconds back at 1 point, now 3.9. So definitely a lot of work for that 25 machine to push that 64, and a lot of work for the 64 to just hold a pretty wheel, and they're doing a pretty good job of it right now. They're starting to slowly close that gap. It's going to take a while, but they could definitely do that. And then so that's that next 4-car group of Austin Call, Kevin Freese, Todd Merkel, and Dude Conrad that you mentioned. Matt Wagner's now riding back here about 11.7 seconds off of the lead with help from Ryan Decker. Taylor Reeves and Brandon Briggs as well. And then we see Nick Monfretti not able to take to the grid, so he did not start this race, unfortunately. And that's pretty much it. I mean, it's fairly easy for us right now. We've got about 4 cars, and 4 cars in. The different packs throughout the race, or throughout the track, I should say, and definitely going to be interesting to see how it comes down to these pit stops. Obviously, this pit road is very, very, very aggressive, or you can be very aggressive. It's definitely dangerous to get onto if you're not executing well, or if you lock up your tires. So it's very narrow. Definitely, we saw a pileup pretty much happen at the first race here, or maybe I can't remember if it was either the first or the second race here earlier this season. Though it's definitely not the easiest pit road to get onto, and you have to be on top of your game as you get there. So we'll see, though. I know a lot of the guys towards the front of this field have been the class of the field as far as getting in and off of pit road under green flag conditions most of the season, and definitely all the way throughout these playoffs. We've talked so much, maybe more so in the first night of the first playoff race just 3 weeks ago, where we talked about execution and not making mistakes. And these guys, the two on leading the field and the championship standings right now, are the ones that have not done that, not made mistakes, not had any issues, and have had great execution through all of these playoffs. So there's a reason why these guys are at the front of the field and why they're at the front of that points battle, Gael.
Yeah, exactly right. So actually, I was going back to look at those final 4 races or 3 races, I should say, that we've had so far. And so for Gabe Butler going into it, he wins at Daytona, a 4th at Atlanta, followed up with the 2nd place at Talladega. So I mean, that's 3 top 5s all right off the bat. And then you go to Zach Workman, starts off with a 3rd at Daytona with 2 wins in a row at Atlanta and Talladega. So I mean, there's not a lot you can do when you're competing against these guys, getting 3 top 5s in a row, one of which, or 2 of which a win for Zach, 1 for Gabe, a win, and then a runner-up. So I mean, those are really, really good stats. So really, Zach's had the better playoff thus far, but I think it's been all about the bonus points, because I'm looking as well. Gabe's had 2 incident-free races, which would give him a total of 6 bonus points in the playoffs, whereas Zach's only had the 1, so that would be a swing of 3 points that way as well. So those are those little things, and that's where that 1 point could come into play here and there. And like I said, right now they're working together. So you've got 1-2 in the championship, 1-2 on track here, and about halfway through our first fuel window here. Again, going to be 3 stops though, so I wonder at some point if Zach's I feel like he's going to stay pretty dedicated to the 88. Doesn't want to kind of make a move too soon. But I think if he can get a really good entry and exit on pit road, if he can jump Gabe in the pits, that's going to be the best time, I think, for him to be able to try to do a strategy where then he can get up front and maybe lead a couple laps, so he'll get that bonus point.
Yeah.
But then, of course, then it's going to be all about that, maybe the bonus point for the most laps, because right now all 12 have been, I believe, with that 88 at Gabe Butler.
Yeah, that's correct, Guy. I'll definitely have to pay attention to that. I mean, we've seen Zach was definitely the one who got out ahead for the last 2 races. Like you said, 1-2 in a row now. He was the one who, on that last pit cycle, was at the front and was able to get around his teammates and have the cleanest pit stop. And they really just, I think they know that they need to be in this position to be up in the front to have that opportunity to try and win this championship still. I mean, honestly, for Zach Workman, it's probably more important if he were able to finish ahead of Gabe Butler. It's really only going to matter most if he is able to win this race, because as you mentioned, Gael, there are those extra bonus points for finishing in first place compared to second place versus second to third. So really for Zach, I think his strategy is going to be to try and win this race. Definitely, and I mean, obviously they've been able to do that quite a bit lately. So if they can continue to execute and make that work, I think that's his best strategy, is going out to try and win that race. I mean, obviously it sounds so like, yes, winning the race is going to get you the points, obviously, but that jump in bonus points is going to be important. So even if they do, I wouldn't be surprised if they ride around for most of this race through the green flag pit cycles. And if Zach is in a position at the end of this race where he is behind the 88, I could see him trying to really push the issue more so than what they have in the past, and instead of just trying to push their teammates to a win. But anything can happen.
Yeah, I know, you never know, and that's the thing with these races. I mean, we've seen them where it looks like everything's all said and done, and then a late yellow throws the biggest wrench into things, or a pit road miscue, or just, I mean, even with some of the best guys in here, like a bump gone wrong kind of a thing, it changes the whole outcome of the race. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see how like I said, how nice they play at this point. I'm still listening into the drivers' radios, and there's definitely some coaching going on in the second group, trying to discuss, like, okay, here's where I want you to position your car. That's going to give me my best abilities to push you, but also not to overheat my car. Discussion going on that second pack against a smaller pack than this first group. But if they can stay as well organized as they've been, I think that's going to be exactly what they need to do, because they've got back together now, but that first pack was kind of split up for just a little bit. But yeah, lap times have still been looking good for the second pack. Kevin staying aggressive on Austin. And this time by, it was, 54-14 for Gabe to 53-83 for Austin. So they're starting to bring that number back in again. It's kind of that ebb and flow that we're seeing right now. And of course, this is where that second pack also, maybe they can work on just a little strategy, maybe get a little aggressive on the pit entry, see if they can maybe jump that maybe 2-3 second margin to get into and sniff that draft. To have a chance to get up to those guys.
Yeah, it's definitely been getting better. I mean, we saw it was over 4 seconds, but they're back down to about 3.8 seconds as they enter the corner there. So, give and take here and there. They were a little bit faster. They were actually about 0.4 faster that last time by compared to most of the leaders of the second pack that you can see on the static TV cameras. You can see that gap there as they come down the front straightaway. That's Gabe Butler passing the start-finish line there, and then you've got the 64 of Austin Call leading that second pack. Third pack not necessarily visible right now, but they're not out of it just yet. I mean, they're about 21 seconds back now, as looks like Taylor Reeves is actually going to lead that line with Ryan Decker pushing him. But definitely going to be interesting to see what happens on these pit cycles, as we're probably about, what do you think, 3 to 5 laps or so from that, Gael?
Yeah, I'd say from everything I was hearing, it was probably about 22-ish laps. So what I would expect to see, though, is Gabe's going to, of course, have the worst mileage of everybody right now, because he's just got the foot to the floor this whole time. So, but what's going to happen is once Gabe calls, hey, I got a pit, I think Kevin Freeze popped a motor in the 25, I believe. Yeah, he's around. Wow. He's going to try to hang on to it here. But yeah, Kevin Freeze popped a motor there, just somehow overheated here, and just got it too hot here, and that motor popped right in front of that 3 of Todd Merkel, unfortunately. And so he's able to hang on to it so far, it looks like, and stay green. There's some quick hands by a lot of those drivers there. He's going to try to coast at the pit road here, but it's going to be tough sledding for him to hang on to it.
Yeah, not a great way to find this replay other than to just take you back to it here and see if we can watch when it happened. See if we can watch, definitely an unfortunate incident for the 25. You see him pushing the 64 hard and must have just sealed it off too much, trying to push too much, and unfortunately you're probably going to see I believe you'd see a puff of smoke here in just a second. We'll see as he starts to slow down the
I think you can probably speed up a little bit. I think it's right at the entry of turn 3 is pretty much right when it happens.
We'll watch it live here.
And you'll see that little puff, and you'll see the little contact. Yeah, right. Actually, you don't really see a puff of smoke though, but really good hands though, because again, this banking difference is huge between these two. So I say the guys on the second pack on back are like, Kevin, just lose it, spin out, bring out a yellow.
Yeah.
But everybody else is saying, yeah, good job, Kevin, good job hanging on to it. I mean, and that's just your natural instinct as a driver, is you're going to try to hang on to that thing no matter what. So
right.
He's just coasted into pit road here. So unfortunately, this is not going well for Kevin here to finish off. But obviously without a yellow, he's out of the running for the win. But the thing is, he could still play a vital role into who could win this race. If he can get latched on with with the lead pack here, he could definitely be a big role in being the pusher for one of those two in the 18 or the 88 for getting the title tonight.
Yeah, definitely. I think that definitely makes it tougher for that second pack now that they're about 8 seconds back. Austin Call now being pushed by Dude Conrad with Todd Merkel. And as you watch it there, the 25 almost came back up the banking and almost caught the left rear quarter panel of Todd Merkel, but great hands, quick hands too by the 25 machine to keep that out of the other driver there of Todd Merkel. So they get to continue on at least. Obviously a little bit of a hiccup for them to slow their speed down. They were a second and 0.3 slower the last time by due to the 2 seconds and 3/10 slower that last lap by. So that definitely makes a huge difference, and you can see that's why on the screen they're about almost 9 seconds behind now. So still, definitely a gap, but still something that they can potentially try to manage. Definitely going to be more difficult, as you mentioned, Gael, without a yellow. But who knows? This pit road is really treacherous, getting in and down on it, and the banking of the pit exit is very flat. It is very easy to spin out, and if you were to spin out and maybe come up onto the racing surface, definitely could throw a yellow. So you never know what's going to happen here, but we got a couple more laps, I think, until you'll start to see these leaders at least start to come in.
Yeah, so I heard in the second pack there, Jude Connor was trying to check with Austin Call how many more he could go. And it sounded like I think I heard 2 laps for Austin, so expect them to see them come in around lap 21, 22 most likely. It's going to probably be the same here for Gabe and company as well. And yeah, right now though, no call outs or anything like this from the main pack. But that's gonna be my question too: is these guys in the second pack? And actually, if you look at that first pack though, I'm just noticing now they've actually started to kind of dispatch with that 51 of Jim Brooks here. He's gonna be a little nervous here to try to kind of tag back onto these guys, so he might have to be real aggressive on his pit road entry. But yeah, so right now though, I would expect to see drivers start to call their pit road this time by leading off with that 88 car. So we'll see if the strategy comes in. And then, of course, the question will be 2 tires, 4 tires, fuel only. Yeah, and here I just saw a key up now. 88, 18 coming in, 40s coming in, 71 coming in. So I think we're going to see pretty much this whole lead pack come in here. And so, yeah, everybody's working, trying to figure out where they're going to kind of cycle themselves out here. So it's going to get busy here.
Yeah, definitely, especially if most of the field's coming down this time by on lap number 21. We'll see if they can slow down enough, and see who is able to be the most aggressive without having issues on pit lane. But they're coming down here nice and smooth for the most part. A little bit of a fan out, the 88 down, and you don't have to get to pit speed until that cone right there that they passed. So it definitely takes a while. You can get pretty aggressive coming down that pit lane, and looks like the rest of the field there on back. Some tire smoke that you see from locking up, but so far I don't see anybody that got out of shape, and hopefully no penalties. And you'll see it looks like the second pack is also going to be coming in this time by as they come down to pit road. So everybody on pit road at this moment. That second pack there, you see the 6 machine of Matt Wagner a little slow, but was it the 42 is a little fast, so who knows, maybe a speeding penalty.
Taylor Reeves, yeah, too fast for the 42.
Okay, yep, penalty for Taylor Reeves. Definitely saw him overtake the 6 quite a bit faster, but Gabe Butler is the one who gets off of pit road first, and Kevin Freese actually gets out and comes out with his teammates. So interesting, he stuck around on pit road there, and he waited for his teammates, and now he is going to potentially, I don't know, maybe not play spoiler to the championship running, but definitely going to try and keep his teammates up at the front of this pack, as it looks like it's going to be about a 5-car breakaway here as we get rolling down the backstretch. You see the 88, the 25, the 18, the 40 of Peter DeBorgia, and the 071 of Eric Laurie now within a second of our leaders. Bud Steele is a little bit further back by himself. I don't know if he's going to have enough to latch onto this group ahead of him, because he's, like I said, about 2.5 seconds back. 2.5 seconds behind him there is Jim Brooks, who is also by himself. And then we've got Rick Sanchez, another 3.5 seconds. And then more of a group back here with Austin Call, Todd Merkel, and Dude Conrad with a pack here. So I would assume everybody, probably from Bud Steele on back, is eventually going to be collected by this group right here, with Austin Call in 8th place, being pushed now by Todd Merkel. Matt Wagner by himself. Brandon Briggs does have the Ryan Decker 61 machine behind him, and then Taylor Reeves, who is now definitely at least about a lap and a half down, coming off pit road after a 1 minute and 36 second pit stop. So looks like potentially an issue with pit entry, and also potentially an issue with speeding again. So probably might have got caught speeding twice there with those penalties. Minute 36 is definitely a long pit stop to have.
That's a long stop. Yeah, I feel like that's even more than usual. So yeah, unfortunately for Taylor, kind of just stuck on his own here for a little while. But Yeah, what Kevin did there is he just kind of waited for his teammates, and during the pit stop cycle said, "All right, go on by here." And now you actually see him jump to the top here. I think he was able to push Gabe clear, kind of out of harm's way from any risk of getting caught there. And now he's just going to tag onto the back of this front four here. So, and now that you see the 18 locked right back onto the 88 here, and he's just going to start shoving him down the back. So, I did look peek back there, and I have seen Bud Steele. He's basically backed up to pick up Jim Brooks. But yeah, like you said, though, they're about to get eaten up here by Austin Call, Todd Merkel, and Jude Conrad. So, unfortunately, I don't think they're going to be able to wait for Rick Sanchez. So I think Rick's going to be off on his own for a little while as well. So yeah, so that first pit stop really kind of split up this field here. And like I said, this is what happens in these things. Let's say again, when you get slightly smaller fields and then you have the pit stops under green, it has that chance of just splitting up the field even further. And so you're going to see pretty much a train of these five here. At times, you're going to look like there's just one super long car, basically, with the way they're able to stagger with each other. You'll see them move around during the turns. That's to try to get some clean air to the car, and then they'll all kind of get right back into the same line, try to stay locked onto each other. So, yeah, right now it's this definitely spelling trouble for the rest of the field because they've got five there, and it will be 5 and 5, so it'll be an even group here. So we'll see how the lap times start to adjust here in maybe about 2 laps or so. But yeah, right now I have that suspicion that without a caution, this is going to be kind of a boot knocker runaway. Kind of has that look to it.
Yeah, all 5 cars in this front pack running for Team Boot Knocker Esports. So definitely you can see the gap there on your screen as that second pack just now coming through turns 3 and 4 as the leaders were passing the start-finish line. A long straightaway of a gap between this group of first 5 cars on the track, and then the second group is Zach Workman actually out of line there, and he jumped back to 4th place now. He's just behind his teammate of Eric Laurie, so wonder if he might have been getting hot and just wanted to jump out of line before it got too hot. But
I think you're exactly right there, Boomers. I think that's the same thing we just saw Kevin Freeze do. Basically pushed the 88 as long as he could. As soon as he got hot, he said, "I'm jumping up," because he's already popped his motor once. And so basically then the 18 locked onto the 88, and I think, like you said, pushed till he got hot and knew he can't risk blowing his motor, so he jumped up and knowing that he was going to have his teammates to kind of pick him up so they could stay in this train here. And so this might be the strategy here. I almost wonder maybe we'll see Peter DeBorgia do the same thing, just basically just shove this 88 here. Then at some point he's going to jump up top and let Eric Laurie do the same. So we'll have to keep an eye on the strategy there. I was hearing in the second pack some discussions. I think the three may have had a bit of a moment with Todd Merkel, but looks like they're all in good shape still. And like I said, we'll have to start keeping an eye on those lap times because last time by, it's what's that, about a second, 1.2 seconds basically. Between faster in that first pack than the second pack. So it's like I said, it's going to be tough sledding for the rest of the field right now.
Yeah, definitely difficult for sure. But we'll take a second to go through the field here and right along with some of these drivers and see where they are at right now. Right now, obviously, in the first spot, we've got the 88 machine of Gabe Butler, currently our championship leader, and hoping to bring home yet another championship for Team Bootnaka Esports here at Area 51. Behind him, teammate in the number 40 machine, that beautiful Extra Life machine. He's actually going to jump out of line, do the same thing, and ruin our through the field, unfortunately. But that beautiful looking car for Peter DeBorgia now in 4th place. We'll jump up to the 071 of Eric Laurie. So they're just looking like they're just going to keep cycling through and try to push as hard as they can to get as much of an advantage over the second pack. But Eric Laurie now promoted to 2nd place with Zach Workman running in the 3rd position. Zach, again, the number 2 spot in the championship standings, is going to need some bonus points and definitely some help from probably trying to win this thing if he can get ahead of Gabe Butler to win this championship. But you see him there in 3rd place right now. In this second pack, we've got Bud Steele, who's currently running in 5th, now being pushed by Austin Call in the Liquid Death number 64 machine. Todd Merkel just behind him in that number 3 Ford, and Jim Brooks behind him. We've actually got one pitting right now. Dude Conrad, unscheduled pit stop. Did not expect to see that here as he slides to a stop and looks like exits, or no, he tows back to his pit stall. It's and disconnects, it looks like.
Yeah, it looks like he is
All
called
right.
this one an evening out of that 8 car. So unfortunately, it's one less for that second pack that they were hoping to probably keep onto them. So now it's kind of 4 on 5, if you will, for the on the numbers game. But
Yep.
yeah, so unfortunately, I think dude just was probably. I say he's usually one that kind of runs part time and is really there. I think to mostly just help his boot and awkward teammates, but may have also had to step away for real life things, hardware issues. You never know on that
Yeah,
side of
never
things. So
know.
it
Yep.
was a pretty abrupt exit. So hopefully everything okay on his side. But
Yep, definitely.
yeah, unfortunately that will finish up his evening here tonight. But yeah, when he's here though, he's definitely one to watch. But yeah, I was gonna mention Boomers on. You're talking about the bonus points and such for the 18 car. I mean, at this rate, I believe Gabe Butler's pretty much in about the next. I'm trying to think when it's basically once they cross halfway, if it continues like it is, Gabe's gonna lock up the bonus points for the most laps led as well. So that's gonna be 2 points. So this is where again every point's gonna come into play here, and so that 18's gonna have to think about as he just touches the yellow line there in entry a little bit, but he's gonna have to start thinking about just what he can do. Maybe try something different on his pit strategy, possibly either maybe for this stop or the final stop, to just be able to try to see if he can jump ahead of that 88 car. Because it seems like they're pretty committed to whoever gets out first. They just stay locked onto that driver here. But what is about to happen is they are just about a few seconds away from the 42, I believe it is, of Taylor Reeves. And then I believe it might be, I'm trying to double check which
It's a
group they're
510
catching
of
now.
Rick Sanchez.
Rick Sanchez,
Yep.
and then yeah, so actually yeah, you're right. So I think it's just Taylor Reeves and Rick Sanchez. So they're going to pick up a couple more cars here potentially. So they have to be a little careful not to get too aggressive here to try to get around them. But I have a feeling those two are just going to probably jump to the top, let them by, and then try to tag onto the back to kind of bring their pace up to then kind of work on catching those next cars in line, which would be Matt Wagner, Ryan Decker, and Brandon Briggs.
Yeah, definitely. They're not too much organization there between the 42 and the 510 at the moment, so they're definitely going to have a lot slower speed. Probably will get out of the way for our leaders, but yeah. Trying to finish up here real quick with the update of the rest of the drivers. So obviously the second group still has Jim Brooks tacked onto the back of that after the disconnection from Dude Conrad. Matt Wagner, that third group now, he is sitting in 9th place with Ryan Decker and Brandon Briggs, as you mentioned there, Gael. And then Rick Sanchez and Taylor Reeves getting out of line and trying to get back in line now to see if they can hold on to this front draft and see if they can do anything to hold on to it. But Rick's definitely kind of staying out high. I wonder if he's got an issue with his car, because he's definitely running a little bit slower than I would have expected there. He was so him and Taylor Reeves are about 3 seconds off the pace that last time by. Not sure, or 4 seconds actually, so not entirely sure what's going on with those guys, or unless it's just they really don't have the draft, and who knows.
I think the draft, yeah, may just make that much of a difference. But it was a little odd, though. I mean, you saw Taylor try to aggressively get down there and try to at least maybe try to pick up the toe, but it didn't seem like the 510 was really that concerned with it. So, yeah, I would have really expected him to be a little bit more aggressive to try to pick up those guys in front to try to, like I said, try to hang on to them. But at this point, I mean, they're long gone at this rate. So, yeah, right now, like I said, I'm looking at lap times again, and it's basically about a second, 1.1 seconds quicker from the first pack to the second pack. So they've got about literally almost on the dot a full straightaway lead right now over that second pack. As Gabe entered turn number 3, Austin exited turn number 2, and again, like you mentioned, the length of these straightaways is pretty massive here. So it's about a 1 to 1.5 mile pretty much gap if you go distance wise. So. Yeah, right now with those 20-second lead when they're running 48-second laps, it's not quite a half a lap, but it's not too far away from it either. So now the question mark is going to be the next scheduled pit stop. We expect to see her again around lap 40, 41, 42, 44, somewhere in that range. Actually, looks like Rick actually went ahead and took a toe to pit lane, so it looks like he's, like you mentioned, maybe had some sort of difficulties and went ahead and parked it there. We'll see if he actually looks like he has retired from this event as well now. So. Unfortunately, it's starting to lose a couple guys here. That's 2 more down out of the way. That's going to leave us 13 on track at the moment. So yeah, so right now it's just, I think it's going to be the question mark is going to be these 2 up front. Is just if and when Zach wants to try to make the move, because I feel like, I mean, again, if he wants to have a chance at this title, he's going to have to do something on Gabe. The question, of course, is will he have anybody dedicated to go with him? because I don't know where alliances lie between the two of them. Would Peter prefer to push Gabe or Zach? Same thing for Eric and for Kevin. So that'll be the interesting part once we get down to the end there. If of
Yeah.
course they stay in this 5-car pack.
Yeah, definitely interesting. And I know we've talked about that before, Gael, with them. Interviewed these guys quite a bit throughout these last 3 weeks in the playoffs, and definitely have asked them at different times what they think it's going to take to win the championship and what it's like to race against teammates. And for the most part, they were pretty cordial. Obviously, they really just want to see the team win in general, but definitely going to be interesting to see where those alliances lie. And it's a lot tougher to pick, which teammate you are going to support, because there's definitely opportunities to try and get one the win over the other, and definitely still a great team spirit and team effort at Team Bootnaka. So it'll be interesting to see if they do try to make it too wide and race at the end and see what happens. But yeah, it'll be exciting nonetheless here. As you see the 18 now, they're kind of still doing that leapfrog approach of letting the second place driver push as hard as they can until their engine gets hot.
Yeah, it's an interesting strategy for sure, but I mean, it seems like it's been working really well. And again, I think also it's that whole situation of, especially for the 18, there's no point for him to take a risk. Also, obviously, the 25, he can't take a risk either because he doesn't want to. As once that engine blows, that's it. There's no more fast repairs available for him. So yeah, so he's got to be careful about his strategy as well. But yeah, I mean, it looks like right now they're just whoever gets behind Gabe. It's like, okay, let's go ahead and push him on and see how it goes. And they're starting to creep up slowly but surely on that group with Matt Wagner, Ryan Decker, Brandon Briggs. So that's going to be next in line for these guys. And probably, I don't think they're going to get there before pit stops, but they're going to be there pretty soon here. Probably, I would say, a few laps after the green flag pit stop cycle. Especially, it depends on how good they get in and out. But right now, yeah, they're about a half a straightaway distance, I would say, from those three in front. So
yeah, definitely.
But right now, though, I think this time by Boomer is going to be halfway. So pretty much you can lock Gabe as having the bonus points for the most laps led as well. So that's going to be 2 bonus points. Turn that 1 point lead into a 3-point lead as they run, as the 18 has yet to lead a lap here tonight.
Yeah, get some TV time for that second pack. You said of Ryan Decker as well, or third pack actually. Kitten Groves chiming in saying, "Come on, Decker, you got this." So got Ryan Decker.
Yeah, gotta shout out the Spency shop.
Absolutely, yeah. Shout out the Sensi shop and beautiful paint scheme that Ryan has on that car and that number 61 machine. Currently pushing the number 6 of Matt Wagner, trying to see what they can do to stay on that lead lap and catch a lucky break and a caution, and they'll be right back in this thing. So thanks for chiming in tonight, Caitlin, and thanks for watching.
Yeah, so that's what's cool too. Is to say, one I say the support of both ways really, where she's supporting on the broadcast, and yeah, definitely always love having the friends and family supporting them, the drivers on track. But then yeah, having actually the driver support the spouse or friend or whatever it may be with their stuff as well. So that's really cool to see. And also while I'm in that mindset as well, definitely got to give a big shout out as well to Jeannie, Gabe Butler's wife, who usually likes to watch and support him in his races, likes to watch the broadcast. So we're definitely thinking of you as well, Jeannie. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're enjoying the race, and as I'm sure cheering on Gabe to try to get yet another win and yet another championship. As modest as he has been a dominating force in this league.
Absolutely.
And just and it's one of those things where you would think that the success he has would kind of turn and have some sort of an ego, but just always it's always talking about the team, and it wouldn't be anything without him. And so that's something I definitely a lot of respect to Gabe for that, for how he is, and just the modesty of that guy. I know I think he's underselling his abilities a little bit there. A little wiggle there from those guys in that main pack. So even shows these guys have little hiccups here and there. But yeah, so get ready. Those should be pit stops very, very shortly here, Boomer, because we're coming to lap number 40 this time around, which means that they could probably go another 3, maybe 4 laps until they hit their second of 3 stops.
Yeah, I think for the most part, you're seeing these guys taking about 12 seconds on pit road, which should be enough for 4 tires. So even though, obviously you mentioned that you'll see these guys duck out in the corners just to try and get a little bit of clean air on that nose through the grill and cool down those motors. But if you see them, so every once in a while, but you'll see them drift up. Sometimes it's just because of the handling of the car. I mean, there's not a lot of tire wear at a super speedway, and typically the compounds are extremely hard. So there really isn't that much grip, but tires really don't wear out as much. But there's still a little bit of wear there, and definitely gets a little squirrely when you get later in the runs. But looks like for the most part, everyone pitting and taking tires, so not too much of an issue there. But I guarantee lap 24 on those tires definitely does not feel as good as lap number 1. But so far they're hanging on to it, and I mean, still growing that lead by quite a bit. They are about still a second a lap faster. With this top 4 plus the lap car of Kevin Freeze. So definitely absolutely pulling away with this one, and a little bit of a gap here now between the 18 and the 40. So I'm assuming the 25 will get him pushed right back up to that group, but definitely some hard work from those guys at the front of the pack right now.
Yeah, so Peter's probably checking his extra life updates, making sure he's not missing any special events, and so yeah, lost focus, and Kevin's got to get him back up there, do the dirty work. But I'd say no, and that is something I want to actually also bring attention to, is that number 40 of Peter DeBorgia with that extra life paint scheme on that car. Really good group of people over there. He's kind of brought them to my attention, as well as Josh Cox in another league that I participate in. Basically raises money for children's hospitals, and pretty much anything and everything he makes, be it all his custom paint schemes like you see this one he's got tonight, kind of an extra life version of the Ally paint scheme Alex Bowman would run. He makes these, he paints these for a lot of the other drivers too, and any donations that he gets for his work goes straight to the extra life group. So yeah, really cool what Peter does, and yeah, I really appreciate him kind of again bringing them to my attention as well. And say I believe he does John Hopkins University, if I'm correct, for his local hospital that he supports. So yeah, it's really cool what these guys do. So Eric Laurie, the little bobble there hangs on to it, but I'm hearing some pit stops. Yeah, I think pit stops about to happen here with the second pack. With Jim Brooks and Todd Merkel and company about to come in this time. I think next time by Matt Wagner and company will be coming in. So it's pretty much time here, Boomer. Gonna see a bunch of guys hit pit road here.
Oh yeah, we'll pick up this second group now, still being led by the 10 machine of Bud Steele, pushed by Austin Call, Todd Merkel, and Jim Brooks. There's one lap car. Yep, so this lap car looks like that is the 42 of Taylor Reeves that has tacked on to this group. Wasn't able to tack on to the leaders, but he is a part of this group now, and you'll see them come down to pit road, fan out just a little bit, trying to get down to speed. And remember, they don't have to be at the white line. They need to be speed right there at the yellow cone. So definitely a lot. It's a bit of a narrow entrance with that pit wall there jutting out, but you can definitely go quite a ways before you really actually truly need to be down to pit road speed. But looks like we're going to see Matt Wagner in that group also getting down with Ryan Decker, the 61. They're going to be coming down, and our leaders are just going to be just barely behind them as well, so we should get a pretty good shot of all of our drivers coming down pit road. Fanning out is the Bootnaka Esports team as they make their way, so everybody at that time.
Here, Boomer, look at the 18 here. He's got just a nose ahead of Gabe. He got a really good entry here. And they won't be sitting on each other's toes or anything like that, because the 18's got an earlier pit stall, so he'll come in, and then Gabe will be able to come around him. However, they got to be careful for these guys not exiting in front of them. Looks like we're good. But as long as he hits his pit stalls here, this could be an opportunity for the 18. They go up at the same time here. I'm going to be watching very closely who wins this race off pit road between the two of them.
Down on the left sides at the same time, and we'll see who gets away, gets all the fuel in the car. Looks like it's going to be Gabe Butler, then Zach Workman, but Zach trying to do everything he can. And actually, the 40 machine of Peter DeBorgia actually gets great run off of pit road, gets the tires warmed up, and takes off quite a bit faster than the rest of his teammates. So he's actually going to jump to the point. So it'll be interesting to see if they're going to continue to do that leapfrog method that they had there. A little bit of a bubble there for the 40 as he comes off pit road, but trying to get everything he can. And it'll be interesting to see, like I said, I was going to say, if they continue to do the leapfrog now, that'll cycle Gabe Butler and Zach Workman through second, third, fourth on back. So interesting to see what's going to happen here with that team strategy now that they've got another driver that's not in the championship running at the front of the pack. But Bud Steele now looks like he got back up to speed, still leading that pack. Not too much of a shakeup here. Austin Call's still second in line, but swapped the 51 machine and the 3 machine on track, and that's how they run right now. Currently 5th through 8th on your screen. Taylor Reeves there, still the back of that pack in that number 42 Krispy Kreme Chevrolet, running in 12th position, I believe 2 laps down now. So They are here about 30 seconds off of that lead pack. So definitely without a yellow, quite a bit of a hole to try and crawl out of. And then another about 51 seconds behind our leaders, we've still got the 6 and the 61 machine locked nose to tail, but they have actually lost the 63 of Brandon Briggs, who you see getting put one lap down now. He's going to try and see what he can do to latch onto these leaders and try to not fall any further back on track, because the next group behind our leaders, like we mentioned, Bud Steele, is 30 seconds away. So it is going to be a long set of laps if this 63 machine does not have enough to catch up to our leaders. But it looks like he's going to be able to get back up to speed and at least latch on here and just hopefully ride around for a while.
Yeah, so his goal here is, he's just pedaling for all he's worth. It's like, just let me suck up onto the back, you guys. I'm sure he's thinking too. He's like, I'm not going to try to rock the boat. I just want to be able to have the draft here to help basically stay with you guys, catch Matt Wagner, Ryan Decker, because then that would be the lucky dog battle.
Ooh, bit of a bobble there. Bobble. Yeah, we also see we missed it there, but the 88 managed to get back up to the lead. And definitely a bit of a bobble there for these drivers. Gonna slow them down a little bit this time by, but the 18's gonna get back in line behind the number 88 machine with the 40, the 071, and the 25. It's definitely going to keep the 63 here in this group, I would think. But, yeah, definitely a bit of a bobble there. But we missed it. The 88 machine got back around the 40, so not quite sure if Peter
I went back and I looked. And
okay.
Peter pretty much just gave the old red carpet treatment, said, after you, sir.
Okay.
Slid in line right after the 18. So he wants to help the team, but he doesn't want to be the one to be in front of the team.
Sure.
I think he wants to be able to be kind of just that backer, if you will. Let them have it out to themselves, but wants to still help them out, but not be too much in the middle of it. But yeah, they are about just a couple seconds now from catching Matt Wagner and that 61 of Ryan Decker as well here. So that's gonna be important for Brandon Briggs. If he can stay tight onto these guys, maybe has a chance to go ahead and be fighting for that lucky dog. But this is where my strategy starts to kind of question a little bit. What do you do now? Because I feel like if you're Ryan Decker, Matt Wagner, you're going to want to be aggressive to try to stay on the lead lap here and try to see if you can kind of fight those guys off from putting you a lap down. So, yeah, I'm curious to see maybe where these guys decide, you know what, let's go ahead and do a short pit or something like that to kind of stay away from them, if you will.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I mean, they're probably about 3 laps here. Ooh, big bobble for the 40. The 071 goes wide. And we had a moment for the 6 machine and the 61 there. Let's back up and see what happened there, as looks like the 6 is very slow on the track right now. Don't have a great way to grab it, so we're just going to go ahead and rewind that for you, see if we can see what happened there. But, man, definitely a bit of a moment there, I would think, between the 6 and the 61, as you see, maybe a push. I don't know. It's hard to tell.
Yeah, I think a push gone wrong, and I think that was why we saw them all kind of scatter, was they didn't know what was about to happen. So
so that makes more sense why they scattered. But you see the 61 here duck kind of low to clean the air, and just gets the 6 machine a little too loose, and unfortunately that's going to send him great car control for the 6 machine to try and at least keep it mostly straight here, and not get into the wall or have any other contact. So that's definitely not an easy thing to do here. That huge transition of that banking is absolutely insane when you see the car. I mean, sometimes there's only 3 or 2 wheels touching the ground when you're kind of straddling both of those. So definitely great work by that 6 machine, and they just try to fan out, get out of the way, and you'll see the 88 and the 18 just kind of get through in the middle there. But scary moment for the 6 machine for sure.
Yeah, and it's kind of split the pack a little bit now, because right now you've got just the 2 championship leaders now. Gabe and Zach, say they're together.
We'll jump back live to that.
Ryan Decker and then Brandon Briggs.
Okay.
But then you got to go about 3 seconds back to Peter DeBorgia, Eric Laurie, and the 25 of Kevin Freese. So kind of interesting that all that happened. It really split them up here. So there's going to have to be a little bit. We'll see if there's any aggression from that second pack to try to force their way back up to Gabe and Zach or not. Last time by, it was quicker for the top 2 there. It's a 54.75 compared to 55.99 for Peter. But I think they just got reestablished. So I think now this will be the the better approach to see how their lap times look. But
Yeah, what
it
the?
almost looks like, I think this might be where Zach kind of is. This is his best chance here. Is like, hey, I think he's kind of tagged on to the boot knockers here in this race in this series. So I wonder if he's thinking, you know what, if I can keep it where maybe I can get Brandon Briggs or I can get Ryan Decker to kind of be my pushers, maybe this has an opportunity for me to kind of sneak one away here from Gabe towards the end of it. I'm skeptical that that's what he would do, but I mean, if I'm being greedy, that's kind of what I would do.
Oh yeah.
And Brian, glad to see you on here, man. I say, wish you were on track as well tonight, sir. But yeah, it looks like we got the semi-annual Area 51 start though for Peter DeBorge, like you were saying.
Yeah, definitely appreciate all you guys chiming in on the chats. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. I mean, obviously, a lot of these guys who run, with Team Bunaki Esports, they've got a very team mindset, and they wouldn't be in that group if they didn't all have that or share that same mentality. But I mean, I don't. I mean, Gabe's definitely not going to blame the 18 for trying to jump out and see what can happen here. But we still got one more pit stop to go, and that pit window is about to open here in the next probably 2 or 3 laps. So we'll have to wait and see what happens. But Gabe Butler and Zach Workman still here, 1-2 in the championship, 1-2 on the track. That last time by, they were pretty much the quickest cars on track. So this second group of now Peter DeBorgia and the 071 of Eric Laurie with their teammate Kevin Freese, who's multiple laps down, they are about to actually take it back. They were within a tenth of Gabe Butler and Zach Workman that last time by, and actually a tenth faster than them as they cross the stripes. So they've only got about a 3.5 second. Oh, 071 gets a little bit sideways from a bad push. Potentially a bad push, I should say. And I'm not sure exactly what happened there, but that's going to really, really hurt their chances there in that second pack. And hopefully the 071 will have enough speed to catch back up. They might slow down enough to hold on to him, but that's really going to hurt their chances to try and get back up to the front.
Yeah, I think they're gonna have to drag back to pick Eric up. And I think what happened was that the top 4 group, I think they slowed down a little bit because they actually wind up pulling off of Brandon Briggs and turned them into a 3-car pack. And so I think they lost that 4th car speed a little bit. So it almost kind of hurt them a little bit that way. I went back and looked. I think Eric just actually got a little wobbly out of 2 there, and then caught the apron, and then from there just had to chase it because, like you talked about, that balance between the apron and the banking is just so massive. But I'm actually watching Kevin Freese here, and he is pretty much locked onto that bumper of Peter DeBorgia. So I think they said, you know what, we're not going to back it down for Eric here. We're going to go after this ourselves. And so they're going to try to see what they can do. So we'll have to keep an eye on that lap time. But right now, I mean, like I said, this is really shaking things up. And I mean, again, the problem is I think the gap that they've got going right here. But I feel like this is going to start to help the lap time side of that group ahead of, or behind them, I should say, of Bud Steele, Austin Call, Jim Brooks, and Todd Merkel.
We haven't really talked about them at all, but they gained about 20 seconds or so. Maybe not 20 seconds, but at least 10 for sure out of that whole debacle. But yeah, now the 10 machine of Bud Steele, Austin Call, Jim Brooks, and Todd Merkel there with the lap car of the 42 of Taylor Reeves. Definitely an opportunity for them. I mean, we saw some craziness happen during that second race, or that was the first race here, where our leaders were the Team Bootnaka Esports drivers, and they got run down by 2 packs that were like 5 and 10 seconds back. So obviously a lot more of a challenge here with 22 laps to go. But absolutely anything can happen, especially if issues keep happening towards the front of this pack, in front of the leaders, and for that lead pack of Gabe Butler and Zach Workman, and the closing pack of Peter DeBorgia and the lap car of Kevin Freese. So be interesting to see what happens here, but don't count these guys out. They're slowly, they're just kind of steady here. I mean, they're not really gaining a ton of time to our leaders, but they're not losing too much time either. And I mean, we saw the 10 and the 3 of Bud Steele and Todd Merkel trying to go for that win at this track at our first time here, and Bud Steele was able to get that job done. So he's going to try and see if he can get another win here in this series at this track. So interesting to see. And yeah, we're just about getting ready for green flag pit stops over the next couple laps. And Kyle, you have to let us know if there's any chatter in the driver's chat to see who might be coming down when.
Yeah, definitely keeping near us. So far, no callers on pit stops yet, but yeah, you do kind of wonder now at what point, what do you do? Like if you're Eric Laurie, do you maybe come in as soon as you're in your window? Don't even worry about green, white checkers. As they said, he's calling debris in turn 2, wants to get this field bundled back up. And there's probably about, I'd say, 10 drivers that want it and about 2 that don't want it at the moment. But yeah, this is going to be intriguing. And I mean, right now, I've been watching that second pack with Bud and Austin and company. They've kind of backed off their pace a little bit. They're not trying to really lock on in tandem and push. They're just kind of staying in a nice tight draft. So I think that's why their lap times haven't. It's that kind of that risk first reward, and they decide, you know
Yeah.
what, we're far enough back. We probably don't need to do it. And actually, as we say that, here they go calling it now. Is the 18 and the 88 hitting pit road together here, and we'll see what the 61 of Ryan Decker does if he comes in with them. I would think he's going to want to. I think this is his best opportunity as well. So this will definitely be a very important pit stop, in theory, scheduled final pit stop for these two leaders and our championship contenders as well.
Yeah, definitely going to be interesting to see what happens here. But the 18 getting way onto pit road a lot faster. Gets really deep into the braking zone. The 18 trying to get deep as well. A little bit of a lockup, trying to see what he can do to get ahead of his teammate here. But unfortunately, I think he's just going to tuck in behind him. You see the 40 and the 25 machine behind them in the distance. They are also on pit road this time by. And I'm assuming we're going to see Eric Laurie come down as well, I would assume.
Eric's going one more, it looks
he's
like.
going to go.
He might try to lead a lap.
Yeah, okay, so he's going to try and lead a lap here. We'll see if we can see if he does that. I don't think, actually, no, the start finish line was behind where the drivers were on track, so he'll have to lead the next lap, as Gabe would have led that one down coming down pit road. And Gabe is now underway in that number 88 machine, but Ryan Decker is going to be there to help push him, so at least Ryan Decker will be able to help push that 18 back up to his teammate, and we'll have to see what happens here. It's going to be interesting to see if there is enough bonus points for that 18. I think he's definitely going to have to get around the 88 and try and win this race, but they're in position to do it, so I have to wait and see. But that leaves Eric Laurie out this time by all by himself. He's got about a 10-second lead over the drivers in what was the second-ish pack or so. Obviously, we had the biggest pack really on track, the 4 cars of Bud Steele, Austin Call, Jim Brooks, and Todd Merkel. But have to see if they're going to answer the call this time by. But Eric Laurie's actually going to stay out another lap all by himself.
I think this is the get a lap led. I think he figures, like, you know what, I've already lost the draft. I might as well just take my lumps now.
Yeah.
Go ahead and hit pit road, get that lap led. And plus, I mean, at this point, he was going to get eventually caught by Bud and company anyway. So why not stay out a little longer here and wait for them and just maybe even come in with them? So I'm okay with this strategy, honestly, for Eric. I think it gives him a bonus point. Again, we talked about how tight the points are from third on back. So this could still be an opportunity for him to take that top 3 in points. And when looking back at Gabe and Zach here, they are all back together as well with that 61 as well of Ryan Decker. So it's a three-way party up front here. Ryan right now the first car 1 lap down, and then still got the duo behind of Kevin Freeze and Peter DeBorgia, just trying to see what they can do. But yeah, now it's just basically waiting for these last drivers to make their pit stops. But I think at this point, Eric's just said, you know what, I'm just running this thing out until I have to pit. Which I think is the right call, actually, because, again, once they do pit, I believe they would be at risk of maybe not quite going a lap down, but being very close to getting put a lap down here. So I think this is probably the right call for these guys. Just run it out and see if they can get the luck of a yellow.
Right, they don't necessarily have to be the fastest drivers on track to try and catch some of the rest of the packs ahead of them, but definitely it helps trying to be in, the more cars in a pack you can get, the more help you'll have. Though it's interesting to see Gabe Butler, Zach Workman, and Ryan Decker, the 3-pack there, they ran Gabe running a 54.42 that last time by. Bud Steele ran a 54.71, so that's 0.3 slower that Bud Steele is losing to who will eventually probably re-inherit the lead of Gabe Butler and Zach Workman, who are currently shown in 6th and 7th place. So definitely not as much urgency from these guys to push really hard, and you can see they're back in the distance. That 88 machine is still moving forward, and they actually have the ability to pass these guys potentially before they even get to the start-finish line as they make their last pit stop. So I think that's pretty much going to settle it, especially with the lap types they're still running, that Gabe Butler and Zach Workman are going to finish at the front, with Ryan Decker there, first car 1 lap down in 9th place.
Yeah, without anything crazy right now, this is going to be basically who's going to do what between the last 2 cars, or I should say the top 2 cars of the 18 and the 88. I'm hearing these guys are pitting now. That's going to be the 64 on pit road, the 3 I believe the 42 as well. We'll see if the 10 and the 51 come in as well, along with Eric Laurie or not. And it looks like, yep, they're all going to come in together here. And yeah, Eric as well. So this will be their final scheduled stop here at coming to 15 to go. Eric trying to hustle it in there a little bit. And it looks like everybody's good and clean. No pit road penalties for them. So this will be their final scheduled stop for the evening, which now puts things back into the hands of the 18 and the 88. And right now, I mean, Ryan Decker, I mean, he could play spoiler on this one if the 18 decides to make a move. Really, he's kind of got control over who's going to get the push to possibly have the win here. So, it's I'm going to be very intrigued to see how this is all going to shake out once we get all the full pit cycle completed here.
Yeah, definitely. Still got to get off of pit road for this group here. The biggest group on track still. Austin Call getting out ahead with Jim Brooks, Todd Merkel, Bud Steele, and Eric Laurie behind him. So this will be the second pack. Is looks like a connection hiccup there for Austin Call here, jumping in on a screen. But yeah, there's these guys are pretty much going to be sealed with their fate of finishing about 30 seconds behind the field, or behind our leaders, I should say. And now that there's, we can see pretty much everyone back on track and getting back up to speed, we'll take a moment to go through the field real quick and just update you, see where everyone is on track. Obviously, we've already mentioned the 80 and the 18 very easily inheriting or re-inheriting that lead here with 14 laps to go. I don't think Zach Workman has actually led a single lap yet. Correct me if I'm wrong, Gael, but I don't think he has, and that's going to be potentially a big bonus point for him. Obviously, if he were able to win the race, then that would be a lap led. But we got Zach Workman there. He's currently still P2 in the standings and P2 on track as well. But I don't think he led a lap, has he, Gael?
I don't believe he has. No,
Okay.
I think right now the only lap leaders that I'm aware of at this point are probably Gabe Butler, Eric Laurie over the pit stop cycle, and then Bud Steele as well for the pit stop cycle. So I think it's pretty much been the Gabe Butler show, short of, like I said, that those couple laps there over the pit cycle, because otherwise everybody was coming in at the same time. So this, I mean, like I said, I'm gonna be very intrigued to see what what the game plan is for Zach. And the thing is, I mean, he just snuck into the playoffs as well. I mean, he didn't make all the races, but in the races he did make, it was good enough to get to the top 12 in points, which qualified him for the playoffs. So I wonder if maybe he's thinking, like, it's one of those ones where sometimes drivers like, well, yes, I made it, but it's where you like to overthink and all that. So I could see him just kind of staying second fiddle and just go ahead and kind of push Gabe onto the win and the title. But I do think, though, if he did pass him on the last lap, I think it would be another swing in the points, where I think it would be enough bonus points swinging to the way of the 18 to actually give him the championship, even with Gabe doing kind of max points here, if you will. So I'm not good at math. I've never promised to be, but we'll see here. But we're getting down to it here, Boomer. 12 to go. Next time by, we'll be down to 11, almost 10 to go here.
Yeah, so Peter DeBorgia is now working about 12 seconds off of our leaders. He's still got help from his teammate, the lap car of Kevin Freese, in the 11th position. So Austin Call is going to be the first car in. It's really the third pack on track, but the biggest pack on track. The 64 now being pushed by the 51 after that pit cycle. We mentioned Jim Brooks there, Todd Merkel, Bud Steele, and Eric Laurie in this group. We've already mentioned Ryan Decker here up in this front pack. He has scored in the 9th position. He is currently the first car one lap down. Then we've also got Taylor Reeves here, who is about to go, looks like 3 laps down. He's got no help, but he should hopefully hope to tack onto the back of this lead pack here. Then we mentioned Kevin Freese in 11th position, pushing his teammate in the 40. Brandon Briggs, who I don't actually see on track.
I think he's retired, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I think Brandon on back have called it an early evening / early season, unfortunately.
Yeah, so that'll do it for Brandon Briggs, Matt Wagner, Rick Sanchez, Dude Conrad, and then obviously mentioned Nick Manfredi wasn't able to make the grid, but that is your field. Definitely a pretty strung out field, but there's still 11 laps to go, and we still have a champion to decide here, Gael.
Yeah, and that's the thing, is there's still a lot to play for these two. Like I said, we don't know what's going through the minds of the 18 or the 88. Is Zach going to play nice, or is he thinking championship? I mean, you don't know, and I won't venture to make it a guess. And then we talked about the points battle as well, with the from third on back. Actually, Rick Sanchez was third in points. He retired early, so I think he's going to fall out of that top 5, even top 8 most likely. So then you start to look at, okay, who's fourth on back? You got Todd Merkel sitting in 5th behind Austin Call, Eric Laurie, Jim Brooks, Bud Steele. They're all right there. The only one not in that group is Ryan Decker, who's 5th in points coming into tonight. Right now, he's the lucky dog position in that 61. So every little point that lap led there by Bud Steele, that could be a point that promotes him up a little higher. Same thing for Eric Laurie getting his 1 bonus point. That could jump him up to 3rd in the points after tonight's race. So I mean, again, it's not for the title, but at the same time, I mean, finishing 3rd in the championship's a lot better than finishing 8th. So yeah, a lot of potentials in this one here. But we're down to now, Boomer, 9 to go, single digits left in this one. And yeah, I mean, lap time wise, it's still these 3 up front here with the 2 leaders, and then the 61 still setting the pace by about a second or so over the 40 of Peter DeBorgia, and then about a half a second or so roughly over Eric Laurie and company with those in front of him, Austin Call, Todd Merkel. So yeah, everybody's just trying to kind of figure out what they got to do to put themselves in position to get their best result. And I think that's where we're going to see the fight, though, is going to be from pretty much 4th on back. These guys are going to probably be making some big moves on the white flag here.
Oh, definitely.
Should we stay green to the end?
Yeah, it's going to be exciting to see what these guys do in this pack. I mean, this was the pack that, like I said, I mentioned in the first race this season, was able to catch our leaders from way back, and it was pretty much a 3-wide battle to the finish there. But for the lead or for the win tonight, I don't think it's going to be that exciting, but we're just going to have to wait and see what happens. I know you mentioned Zach Workman, could potentially be thinking, hey, I wasn't here the whole season, but I was able to get into those points battle in the playoffs, and who knows, maybe he gives it to his teammate of Gabe Butler, but who knows? I mean, he's got a car behind him in that 61 machine. Decker still has a chance to push him to the lead. I mean, I don't think Decker would want to be in a position to really manipulate or change the outcome of this championship. So it might just be the 18 doing something by himself. But obviously, from up here in the booth, the 1,000-foot view, we really can't tell what's going through the minds of these drivers. We just kind of have to guess and watch and wait and see what happens. But we will have 7 laps to go as they cross the stripe this time by.
Yeah, this is almost where if I'm Ryan Decker, I'm kind of poking the bear a little bit, and be like, so who wants it more, and kind of tease them that way, where it's like I'll push the guys who's the highest bidder to have my push here at the end if it comes down to it. I don't think they're gonna catch Austin, Todd, Eric, Jim, and Bud here at the end, but I've kind of poked the bear a few times with these guys during some races where maybe if I wanted to yellow or things like that, I would tease Zach and be like, hey man, you haven't led a lap yet, or things like that, just to kind of, I know they're not going to change their game plan, but it's just one of those things. They try to kind of get them off their game a little bit, maybe make them laugh a little bit, and kind of just have some fun with these guys, because I've got to know so many of them over the course of the seasons, racing with them, broadcasting with them. It's a really good group of guys, and so it's just a lot of fun to kind of give them a little bit of grief. I'm kind of trying to spy in the chat to see if we have anybody I could pull in and quiz a little bit on it. But I think everybody that's in Discord right now is on track, so I don't want to mess up anybody's concentration. I don't want to be that guy at the hall. So
yeah, definitely.
So we'll see what they've got left in this one. But yeah, I think if the 18 is going to make a move, I don't think it's going to be until out of turn 4 on that final lap. And then, like I said, I think the big question mark is going to be what does that 61 do? And I think that's probably where Zach's in kind of between a rock and a hard place, where it's like, I think if it was just the 2 of them, he would maybe try to make a move to be able to break away. But the problem is, I don't think he wouldn't want to get it where a lapped car maybe pushes him through instead of Gabe. I think that would be where if it was just a 1-on-1 situation versus a 2-on-1. But we'll see. We're coming down to here, 5 to go this time by.
Yep, 5 laps, about 5 minutes to go left on the season here in Area 51. Definitely going to be it's been a very exciting season. We've had a lot of new tracks, obviously adding Atlanta Superspeedway, as I like to call it, to the schedule. And we also have this track of iRacing Superspeedway here, and even our Thursday night truck series, the Superspeedway series there, also adding the same tracks to their schedules on top of we see a little bit of a side-by-side battle. 18 gets underneath the 88 machine. On the backstretch, we're going to see the 61s just kind of hang out and see if he can see if he can push him. I don't know, but
Yeah,
looks
he's
like,
gonna get back
yeah,
to the ADA here. So
yeah,
this is interesting. Yeah.
yeah. I don't know if this is. I don't know. That almost looked planned there, Gael. Just the way how smooth that transition was. I'm not sure what happened. It looked like that was. I mean, I don't think the 18 had that much of a run. Definitely wouldn't have had that much of a run to get around the 88 by himself if he had not had some help getting back in line. So interesting to see what strategy this is here.
Yeah, no, so yeah, the 18's good. He does get a lap lead. And remember I talked about some people causing some troubles? Kevin Freeze just keyed up saying, "Hey Ryan, you've got the championship in your hands," basically saying you can decide who's gonna win this title between the 18 and the 88 here. So as not a position I would want to be in if I was Ryan, I would almost decide, you know what, then I'm just gonna go ahead and fall back a second or two because it's not gonna affect my results here, and then let them figure it out on that final lap. So Kevin's doing exactly what I was saying about kind of poking the bear a little bit on that one. Chris, no worries, man. I know you got the family coming back, so definitely wanted you to make sure you hope they're doing well. Hope they had a safe trip back from California, and definitely hope that you're enjoying the time with the wife and the baby and family. So, but yeah, Boomer, this will be interesting. So yeah, so we do
Yeah.
have a switch in position. So we do now know that 18 at least does have a lap led at 3 to go. So Gabe still has the advantage for the most laps led. That's locked up and been done with about halfway through this race. So no bonus point for the pole position. That went to the 10 of Bud Steele. So now it's going to be all about the incident points, incident-free race, as well as, of course, who's going to jump in front of the other at the end. I think whoever finishes first or second, that would be the champion. Of course, like I said, pending incident points. So
Yeah. Yeah, I think for the most part, these guys have had a pretty clean race. I mean, unless there was something crazy where they got some, an X or two in a contact from pushing, I'm not sure. But
no, they're clean. I was spying on
okay,
they're
perfect. Yeah,
incident-free.
typically iRacing does have a leniency for speedway racing. When you are pushing the car in front of you, it doesn't give you that much. You can push a lot harder and not get a penalty for contact. So yeah, I think that's pretty much going to come down to it because they'll be the only difference is the 1 point that the 88 had coming into tonight, and then the 1 point that the 88 will earn for leading the most laps tonight, which we can pretty much guaranteed give to him. But it'd be interesting to see. I think for the most part, that's only going to be that 2 point difference there, and like you said, Gael, it's 5 extra points for winning the race. So whoever wins this race, I think, is going to be the one to come down to the championship. So definitely exciting. So we're going to have to wait and see if the 88 machine is going to make a move here. But they're coming down white flag this time by only 3 miles to go on the season here in Area 51.
Yeah, like I said, 3 miles, white flags out. So at this point, no matter what, this race is official. No overtime or anything. No green light checkered on Green Light Checkered TV this evening. So it's going to come to the scheduled distance. But like I said, what does Ryan Decker do here? What does Gabe Butler do? Has Ryan made any sort of agreement with any of these drivers? I don't know how well he knows each of them, but Gabe's peeking.
Pushing. Yeah, he's pushing or peaking low, but pushing really hard. Sorry, go ahead, Gael.
Oh no, yeah, I'm just watching again. I think if Gabe's gonna make the move has to happen out of 4. But yeah, I think like I said, Ryan Decker really he has control of this one for who he's gonna push. You see, Gabe he's peeking top. They're thinking about being blocking here, so here we go. We'll see how to 4.
Zach Workman is going to try and keep that 88 machine behind him. 88's not going to have much of a run. He's going to duck to the inside. They are side by side, though. The 88 gets along to his door, and they are going to run. The 61 machine is actually going to give him a push. The 18 machine is going to come home victorious tonight, and I believe that settles the championship. The 61 machine of Ryan Decker helping decide the fate of the 18 by giving him a shove at the line. The Toyotas on the outside lane. I think we can just about definitively call it. We'll wait for official word, but we can just about definitively call that championship for Zach Workman. We'll wait and see how the bonus points fall, but I think that was the deciding factor in the championship after those drivers came alongside each other. Wow, that was crazy.
I think you're correct on that one.
And we actually get a chance to see the finish here. The 64 machine is actually going to lead. Didn't pan to it soon enough, but the 64 machine leads that second pack. Todd Merkel grabbing 5th place, Eric Laurie and Bud Steele and Jim Brooks. So that was that second or third big pack on track the finish for them as well. But go ahead, Gael.
No, you're exactly right. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm actually going to pull up. I'm going to kind of do the admin side of things here and try to find out our official race results. And
All
I
right.
was going to make the mention of possibly having the Toyota kind of bias, if you will. And that, I mean, I don't know if that was maybe the decision to be made or we'll see. But yeah, I'm
We'll
going to
have to
pull up
wait and
those
see.
results right now while you watch Zach celebrate.
Yeah, we got the 18 machine burning it down on the front stretch here at iRacing Superspeedway, earning the win, and we will have to confirm shortly whether that is enough to get him the championship, winning what would be the final 3 races on the season. And yeah, definitely a great race, but Gael's going to confirm that. While we do that, let's at least get our first interview underway. That will be with the number 40 machine of Peter DeBorgia, and we'll pop him up here into the broadcast booth and ask him how he thought his race went tonight. Peter, definitely kind of got a little strung out from the 2 ahead of you guys, but for the most part, able to stay up in the front of the pack and just kind of ride along, and it seemed like a pretty easy night for you guys.
Yeah, I mean, we were here for Eric, Gabe, and Zach there. That was Kevin and I's job all night, and there was some smoke in front of us, and they were screaming wrecking. So I don't run this league enough to know exactly quite the balance of keep your foot in it versus check up like crazy. And I'm in other leagues where there's a lot more admin yellows, and yeah, we lost the group there a little bit, and then me, Kevin, and Eric hooked up, and we were gaining a little bit there, and then Eric got really loose, and then it was just we were on our own little island for a while, and didn't want to call out the caution or whatever for anybody who was racing for the championship there, but mission accomplished. Those are the guys we were working for.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, like I said, I mean, definitely. I mean, you guys were locked onto each other. Unfortunately, Eric. Kevin had the motor pop early, and then he had to basically kind of basically do not a tow, but he coasted for a long, long ways to pit road, and then was able to tag back onto you guys, and then from there, I mean, you guys did what you do best and just completely set sail there at the end, until, of course, like I said, until that miscue. But I mean, it could have should have been a wreck there. I mean, we were watching it, and I don't know how that car stayed pointing in the right direction. So definitely some quick hands there. But yeah, I mean, I say Brian Wang was chiming in here, kind of poking the bear a little bit, saying you're making your semi-annual Area 51 start. So I mean, it's always good to have you. You always have great paint schemes on your car, on some of the cars that you support. Obviously with a great sponsor with Extra Life on board as well. So just I say definitely want to give you the floor here, because I know, like I said, this is definitely one of those sponsors that's bigger than any of us, kind of a thing.
I appreciate it, man. I know you personally and your dad as well have given plenty of support to it over the past couple years for me here, and we're in our 2023 campaign now, and it's pretty awesome. Just a big giant way for us to funnel money from gamers and gaming communities and whatnot to Children's Miracle Network hospitals. It started, like 10 years ago or so like that, or 2008 rather, 15 years ago, and it's raised $100 million. And last year I was able to raise 2,500, and that would be, unbelievable if I was able to do the same thing. I try to make paint schemes or do work for leagues and whatnot any way I can to generate some money that way. And rather than it being income for myself, I just tell people donate it to the charity, and it's win-win. Then it goes towards helping sick kids, and at the same time the donor gets a tax break, so it's a discount versus if they were to give it to somebody else for the same thing. So hobbies used to cost money for me, so that's what I'm used to. I'm not used to them making money, so I'd rather it just go to a better cause as a result of that. But yeah, the Extra Life Chevy was great tonight. Did everything it's supposed to. I don't have a whole lot of experience in these next gen cars, and they're definitely a different beast than pushing the pusher, and the temps going up so drastically and cooling down so drastically too. But it was a lot of fun out there, and just finished building a brand new computer and was like, oh, that's right, I can race in Area 51 tonight then, and make sure I get everything all straightened out for it. And what a stress test it was. It was a good time.
Yeah, well, hopefully we'll get you to do some more stress testing for maybe 12 races next year, Boomer. I think that'd be a good test for it.
I'd definitely like to see that as well. But yeah, definitely congratulations to you, Peter. Definitely still a hard-earned top 3 finish, and hope to see you more next season. And a great cause and a great paint scheme you got on their car tonight.
Thanks so much, guys. Appreciate y'all.
All right. I will. Well, it looks like Gail's pulling up our next driver. It will be the 88 machine of Gabe Butler in those beautiful Guinness colors. Definitely, same execution that we saw week in, week out from you guys, and definitely saw. You guys pretty much be the class of the field, not making mistakes at the front there. Take us through how you thought that race went for you guys.
It went pretty awesome for our guys that for the most part. I think Kevin had they blew up, but and Eric had a something happened to Eric. I'm not sure what, but the rest of us we did pretty good, and again, good team effort. Big congratulations to Zach. He fully deserved it. Pretty consistent all year, so definitely a deserving champion there.
Yeah, definitely. We saw that move with about was it 3 or 4 laps to go on the inside, and just the way the timing worked, wasn't sure if that was planned or was that just a good run that the 18 machine had and got underneath you there.
Well, actually, I was letting him go. I wanted to get behind him and see if I could create a run on the last lap. I tried to back him up a little bit, but he's Zach's smart, man. He backed it up too, so I could never really create a run. And then it was just a matter of who Ryan decided to go with. And even if he didn't go with Zach, I think Zach would have won it anyway. He had the high side, so you get a massive drag back on these cars when you side drive from the outside there.
Yeah, so is that a case of maybe having the wrong manufacturer on the nose of that car tonight? I know you kind of bounced between a couple manufacturers that won't be named other than the Chevrolet. Do you think that was maybe a Toyota decision? Maybe TRD gave a call over to that 61 and said, hey, you're going to be pushing that 18 car, or what's the thoughts? Is that a big brother situation we need to be looking into, Gabe?
Well, yeah, definitely needs some sort of investigation there. I mean, if that's two Toyotas ganging up in a Chevy, yeah, something needs to be done about that. But
Well, you guys definitely had a lot of great strategy all season long. I mean, I really don't know what to say other than domination from you guys for these playoffs. We didn't interview anybody but Team Bootnaka drivers from the last the 3 podium placings from the last 4 races, and quite a bit more throughout the season. But yeah, definitely want to give you a chance to speak on how you thought the season as a whole went and what you look forward to in the next one.
well, I definitely enjoyed the season. Initially, I was hesitant about this car, but as the season progressed and I learned more about it, it was actually pretty awesome. Um, just a shame some guys, I guess, got a little bit scared of it, don't like driving it, but I mean, I guess it is what it is. But um, next season, whatever we decide, I'll be here racing it. Looking forward to it as usual. I always enjoy racing with Area 51. Of course, finally, a massive shout out to the Bootnaka guys. It's been a tremendous all season in both series, both the trucks and the NextGen. So we'll see what the future holds here, but whatever it is, we're looking forward to it. And a quick shout out to my wife, Jeannie, and all the admins in here, Area 51. Of course, you guys for doing your wonderful broadcast.
Oh, I appreciate
Yeah,
it.
it was a great job tonight, Gabe. Sorry, I didn't step on you there. Yeah, same. I'd say, but obviously you still got one more to go here on Thursday night. So you got a 15-point lead over Eric, 16 over Kevin for the Truck Series. I mean, say obviously it was just a 1 point between you and Zach coming into tonight. Is that one? I mean, are you feeling better about that one with the margin, or is that one of those just you can't count the chickens at all, even with a bit of a lead going into the finale?
Oh, well, you can't really count on anything at super speedways. I mean, you could wreck in the pits, you could blow up like Kevin did tonight, for example. You could go a number of laps down. You have to, who knows? And I mean, those guys could just, have a perfect race. And so, I mean, it's still all to play for. I look at it as if we're tied and just race like it's tied.
Well, definitely, we'll be watching to make sure, or watching to see what happens there on Thursday night as well, Gabe. But congratulations to you for a heck of a season. And I don't know if we've confirmed the points just yet, but it sounds like a runner-up position in the championship for you, and definitely a great run. So congratulations to you, and we look forward to seeing you next season.
Yeah, same here, guys. I appreciate it. And again, big congratulations to Zach. Like I said, he fully deserved it. So got a great champion at Area 51 there, fellas.
All right, so that'll do it for Gabe. We've got his teammate, and I believe it sounds like we have confirmed the points.
I can confirm the points. It's a 4-point margin for Zach Workman over Gabe Butler getting the championship here at the Area 51 NextGen Superspeedway Series. Like you said, Boomer, winning the last 3 races of the playoffs. So I kind of pull in a Jimmy Johnson-esque playoff session there to the end. But so Zach, we're poking the bear a little bit on this one because I say we're joking there. Maybe some Toyota, some TRD, David Wilson phone calls there. Working that 61. I mean, you're obviously busy driving, but were there any private messages being sent between you and the 61? Say, hey, I've got a portion of this championship going your way if you give me a shove there at the end, or are you not allowed to comment on that?
No, it was none of that. It was just whoever he decided to push. But I hate when people try just like on the last lap to do a move. So that's why I went a little bit early with 5 or 6 to go. Just kind of catch Gabe a little bit off guard, I guess, just with him running high and letting me cool my engine. So I kind of wanted to lead and be the blocker at the end and kind of control my own destiny. I didn't want to leave it up to either lap down guy pushing me, because he's got his own race to run and he could either choose me or Gabe to push. So just kind of wanted to be out front there and, control it from there.
Yeah, he definitely did that well, and obviously took that bottom and pretty much was able to make that move and kind of control the race from the front towards the end. But you guys had some really great team execution just about all race long to stay at the front of the pack, which really allowed you guys to try and execute and try to go for that championship towards the end.
Yep, it just all starts with the good pit stops. A couple of us got away from each other because some guys almost spun in front of us, and some of us checked up, and me and Gabe kind of made it through clean. So it was just me, Gabe, and just that for a bit, and then we executed pit stops and just kind of raced it out between ourselves. And we also had Ryan there as well, so it was fun. And then when I was up front, I told Gabe this second to last lap, I'm like, I don't care if you got 27 of these. I hope you still, race hard and try and make a good show for the last lap.
No, you definitely went for it there, and Gabe mentioned it looked like you had enough there, even with the bump there at the end. I say we were kind of watching it, and obviously, like I said, you got the little extra shot at the end, but it looked like the momentum was definitely in your favor there at the end. But I mean, obviously, this is definitely one of those ones where you went into the playoffs not even knowing initially if you were going to make them, but due to the races you were able to make, you had such good results that you were able to jump into that top 12 in the points. And it wasn't one of those guaranteed things that you were going to be getting into it either. It was, so I'm trying to find the numbers here after race number 8, and yeah, you and Brian Wing got in. And actually, okay, yeah, it was Brian initially that got in by, I believe it was 1 point over Todd Merkel, and then one of the drivers had to step out. So actually, yeah, you were basically the second to last driver initially to get in there with your starts. But the thing is, out of those starts you had all but one were top 5s and top 10. So when you were there, you were in it. And then, of course, like I said, then you went on that tear during the playoffs. Was that just the go for broke on those final 4 races, or it seemed just everything clicked for you there at the end?
Just seemed a lot of click. I don't think I really drove different. Just kind of got lucky with some results and stuff like that. And yeah, it was just kind of like last year's playoffs. We kind of barely made it in the last season. We're really close on points as well, and we kind of had a Cinderella run. We kind of did, and then we did that this year as well. Yeah, it's just kind of, I guess we come alive in these playoffs. As you said before, we're almost like the 48 crew. But yeah, it was just a lot of, pieces fell into place, and you're right there in the right spot at the end.
Definitely a great execution, like we keep mentioning, and an exciting battle to see how it came down. But I believe, and I apologize if I'm mistaken, but I believe is this your first championship here in Area 51, Zach?
Yes, it is.
All right, so how are you going to celebrate this one?
A lot of beer tonight.
That sounds like a good way to do it. Any other plans, or just pretty much some beer and hanging out tonight?
Just hanging out. Kind of gotta go to work tomorrow. Real life doesn't stop for some video game championship. So just gotta go get on the grind there. But tonight was a lot of fun. Glad that we got it done, and glad that me and Gabe could kind of race it hard at the end for the last lap.
Oh, great. That was definitely exciting to watch, and hopefully you can hold your head high. And if anyone gives you a hard time tomorrow at work, just let them know that we said that you are the champion, and they gotta take it easy on you on Monday. But yeah, congratulations. I mean, 3 in a row to finish the season is a great triumph, and congratulations on this first championship here in Area 51.
Thank you guys, and thanks to all the admins behind Area 51. This league's a lot of fun. Some personal life changes. I don't know how many more Sunday races I'm going to make. I'm going to try and make as many as I can, but if I'm not there, I'm definitely be in the YouTube chat checking you guys out. But yeah, it's always fun racing on Sundays. Appreciate all the work behind the scenes and you guys in the booth.
Well, thanks. We appreciate it a lot, Zach, and hope to see you back for as many races as possible. But totally understand that life is definitely important, and we always say it comes first. So definitely understandable. But hope to see you again soon, and take care for now.
Yep. Thank you, guys. See you soon.
All right. That was probably more of an exciting battle than I expected to see towards the end there, Gael. What were your thoughts on the last couple laps there?
I wasn't sure what to expect, but then yeah, when Zach made that move to the inside out of 2 on Gabe, I was like, okay, I think we're gonna see something here, and that was exactly what we got out of those 2. And I think same like I said, those 2 wouldn't have it any other way. They're all working together to get to that position, and then when they know it's between the 2 of them for the title, it's like, well, let's get this figured out there. So. Yeah, it was a really good battle between them. I really liked the fight, but also of course the respect and camaraderie. Of course, I mean they're teammates, but it wouldn't matter who they were if it was some other drivers that were part of different teams. I think I would expect to see the same from Zach or Gabe to another driver as well. So yeah, I mean that's honestly kind of not a surprise anymore with these guys. They're just really top class guys, and they really make the league look good with how clean they race, but still how hard and respectful they are with one another. It's a great combination. I've loved to see over the course of the season.
Yeah, it's definitely been great. They've kind of been the class of the field so far towards the end, later stages of this season. So definitely a lot of great execution. But we've definitely had some other drivers here in winning races. Obviously, Todd Merkel and Bud Steele, guys that had their name in the mix there in the top 5 in the championship for a while there towards the beginning of the playoffs. And Bud obviously getting that race win earlier here at iRacing Supersuperspeedway. So definitely a lot of positives for the rest of the field too. And hopefully next season we'll have a few more drivers in the field, try and do some a little bit of recruiting in the off season and get more names up on that board for the next season. But it's definitely going to be a lot of fun to watch here on Sunday nights. We'll be back for that action. I haven't necessarily checked taking a look at the schedule, but that should be coming up shortly. But before we get into too much more, we want to go through the rest of the standings that we have from this evening. Obviously, we already talked to Zach, our champion for the 2023 number 1 season, first season of the year. There'll be 2 more seasons, so we'll crown 2 more champions throughout later the 2023 calendar. But Gabe Butler coming home second tonight and second in the championship, with teammate Peter DeBorgia just behind him. Austin Call, Todd Merkel, Eric Laurie, Bud Steele, Jim Brooks, Ryan Decker, and Kevin Freese were your top 10 from tonight. Taylor Reeves, Brandon Briggs, Matt Wagner, Rick Sanchez, Dude Conrad, and Nick Manfredi to round out the field for the evening. So definitely a lot of fun here on Sunday nights. And I guess, Gael, I don't know if you are able to comment on that schedule and let us know when we might be coming back, or maybe like an expected time for our first race of the 2023 Season 2 championship.
Yes, so we'll be taking a minimum 2-week break. I said we haven't nailed everything down, but yeah, we're gonna be getting the powers that be together to kind of nail everything down. But yeah, definitely minimum 2-week break to kind of let everybody kind of get a little bit of a breather. And of course, like you mentioned, Boomer, to kind of get some recruiting races in. And just to nail down too what the game plan is. Do we want to stick with the next gens? Or are we going to look at maybe going either back to Xfinity? I know the Gen 4 Cup car, that's been very popular for oval racing. Not the best super speedway car in my opinion, because it's a little bit difficult to push with those bad boys. But yeah, there's a lot to discuss, but we're definitely going to try to nail down the best and what's going to be the best for everybody with the league. So we'll be definitely getting that to everybody as soon as we possibly can. But yeah, so definitely look for some fun races if you're looking to get into the league. We'll be opening it up, like we said, for recruiting, and that's going to be at area51iracing.com. That'll give you the links to the Discord. That way you can join in, get the info there, and of course be able to then also get the links to the league sessions through the iRacing members page as well. But yeah, it's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to see what the next plan is here. But yeah, we've got Indy, the series to finish up their season finale at Auto Club on Tuesday night. I believe it's a pretty tight race over there as well. I'm pulling up those results actually as we speak, and it is a 3-point lead between Eric Schaus and Charles Teed for the championship. Matt Wagner 19 out, and then from there, I think unfortunately those guys probably out of the running. This one's a regular season, no playoffs there, so all season long out of the 12 races, or I should say 11 of the 12 so far, 3 points are going to be between our top two in the points. And then we mentioned Gabe Butler has about a 15-point lead over the Kevin Friesen in the 25 for the championship in the truck series. So after Thursday, that's going to wind it up for the season. Let everybody kind of get ready for the Easter weekend. So I know that's obviously a busy one as well. So yeah, it's going to be exciting. It's going to be a lot of fun to crown 2 more champions. And then we're going to kind of keep building from there and see what's next.
Yeah, definitely a lot more action still left on the week. We're going to crown those championships. Unfortunately, can't broadcast the Tuesday series with the redacted name Open Wheel Cars, unfortunately due to licensing in iRacing now, but we still have that ability to broadcast on Thursday nights, and we'll bring you that action for that Super Speedway series with the trucks. The NASCAR, was it Camping World Truck Series vehicles we racing. I believe Maxwell Caldwell will be calling that action on Thursday night, so should be a lot of fun. Should be a great broadcast. Make sure you head over there on Thursday nights to catch that action from that season finale. That'll pretty much do it for us, though, for Sunday nights here. We'll be back, and we'll have to see what tracks we'll be at next season. Car may be subject to change. We'll see, but definitely assume we'll be back at these 4 speedways, super speedways, and should be a lot of fun, and I cannot wait to call that action. So definitely looking forward to a bit of a break here, but we'll be back soon enough, don't you worry, and they'll be racing on track on Sunday nights in the Area 51 Super Speedway Series. Can't wait to have that for you, but until then, we are signing off for myself, Boomer Logan, and for Gael Brooks. Appreciate everyone tuning in, chiming in during the race. Know a lot of people watch these broadcasts back after the fact, and got a few watching live, so appreciate all of that support, and glad to have you along for the ride. But until then, a couple weeks' time, we'll see you, and take care of yourselves until then.